Kaya take care of the Larry situation here so that we can do that now and then have that be dealt with in the past for the next session. But
Yeah, sure.
cool. Then we can do that after this. But the first thing is a random encounter I had designed for Kaya and Legacy, who I had asked once before if Kaya and Legacy ever just hung out, like went to see a movie together or went grocery shopping together or just at some point would walk around town um, and have time to like chit chat and hang out.
Food truck.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
food truck, whatever, what have you.
food focused walking, but yes.
Yeah.
Fair.
It was. I
Totally
doubt they
fair.
would go. I really doubt they'd see a movie because I feel like they would just fucking pirate it.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, especially with
that's
Legacy.
facts.
And they have enough caffeine. They'd either get a coffee or be going like food run, like food truck, or going to get a coffee. Some break to walk around and stretch their legs after they were both just working on their respective projects for 12 hours straight.
When was the last time
Perfect.
either of them slept? We don't know. They don't really know either.
They don't keep track anymore. I think Larry's keeping track.
Larry's a good boy.
Larry is a good boy. He's keeping track.
If you hear the mysterious thud in the other room, then you just know that somebody's passed out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Puts one on the marker board.
yeah. So at some point during the downtime after the insanity that had transpired with the heist and the highway and all of that insanity and chaos. Hi, Cody. You guys would have probably been walking together, and as you were maybe returning from wherever you were out and about at to your humble apartment, and as you were returning there, you would have had someone try to get your attention in a side, not like an alleyway, but sort of like on a vendor side area where that's where instead of a vendor stall or even a table or anything, it's basically a person sitting there with an upturned box and a simple cloth thrown over it. Not an incredibly unusual thing to see, just someone sitting on the street, especially in Adam's ward. But this person in particular has a very unusual appearance. They are wearing kind of a dark brown robe kind of get up. It looks very Jedi-esque almost, with long sleeves and a hood that comes low over their head. You can see the lower portion of their face. Their eyes are a little harder to see, and they keep their head tilted downward. But this person, you can see their forearms and their hands. They have dark brown skin. They seem relatively cheery, and as you and Legacy, Kaya and Legacy, as you both walk by, this person kind of waves to you and just goes, "Oh, excuse me. Ladies, I have been waiting for you for some time now. And please, I know it's going to seem strange, but just if you would have a seat." And he gestures to a little, like, basically just like a rug/mat that is laid out in front of him. This looks kind of like a fortune teller of sorts, or like a tarot card reader, or a palm reader, or a psychic.
Push pause, describe our characters for Cody,
Mm-hmm.
so that Cody has it since Cody has joined. Hi, Cody.
Yes.
You go first.
Okay, I am looking for the outfit.
Mm-hmm. Haha. That was a big brain. A character's outfit never fucking changes.
Yep. So you must go first while I find the appropriate outfit.
Okay. So Kaya is tall. She's with her boots on, she's probably like 6'2", pushing 6'3". Without her boots, she's 6 feet tall. She is more toned, but her muscles are from work rather than working out. She has red hair that's almost always pulled back in a ponytail. And her right arm is a prosthetic, a cybernetic prosthetic that has a couple like little bits and tools that are just like magnetized onto it. And she's essentially always just covered little smudges of grease and oil on like her arms and her face. It's been rubbed away with a cloth, but there's still like some residue there. She's got a mechanic jumpsuit on that is essentially tied off around the waist. So it shows that under it she has a like essentially a white tank top, like a small little throwover that she's got, and slung up on her mechanic jumpsuit that's tied around her waist is her tool belt and her tool bag that's hooked up to her waist, carrying a bunch of random shit. Not like random shit, but more so just random bits and bobs, as well as actual tools. And I'm assuming Larry is with her? Yeah.
Always. Unless
Yeah.
you say otherwise.
Yeah. And following. How is he following her? Is he like. Is he
Basically,
behind
right.
her on the-
He would be right beside her shoulder because Legacy is short, so he could
Mhm.
float above and slightly behind Legacy's head,
Mhm.
just near, trying to be eye level or head level with you.
Okay. Floating just at head eye level.
It's
is
floating
a
above
little-
Legacy so that he
Yeah.
can be at eye level. Oh my god.
Yep.
Now, slightly
Oh.
behind Legacy, because he knows that he has been told that it's rude to fly directly above somebody.
Yeah. Kaya told them it was rude.
I just like don't. It seems like you're kind of being rude there, and he's just like, I don't understand why, but you know what? I can understand being rude, and I'm not going to be rude. That's not what he said. That is his understanding of the situation.
Yeah. Is a red robot or drone that has a little like LCD circular screen on the front that displays emojis, like emoticons. He's got like two little fine manipulators that he's got in front as he's just hovering slightly behind but above Legacy. Not directly above, but you know, a little behind her. He's probably staring at this man. He would do the head tilt if he could. His whole body tilts slightly.
Yeah, we're gonna go with this because this is a very Legacy outfit.
Also, I forgot I made a height chart including Larry. Of Larry and Kai and the mini Larrys.
Okay. So, Legacy is very small. She stands about 4'10", I think, ish. Maybe a little less, 4'8". And is very, very petite. Very much looks like she does not see the sun nearly as much as she should. Very pale. However, if you see her, she does have muscle tone and everything. She does seem athletic, despite her being pale and tiny. One of her arms is fully cybernetic from the shoulder down, and has very clearly been modded to hell and back. Does not look like any of the base models should at this point. However, it is still very small, because I'm assuming a lot of the modding that happens either is to make it look super fancy or make it look super big and powerful. It's neither of those. And on her opposite hand, she has her thumb, pinky, and ring finger are cybernetic, leaving her other 2 fingers flesh. And she also has a plate that goes over the front, like over her throat and down to just a little past her collarbone, and kind of wraps around the entire front half of her neck. Is very clearly some sort of medical cybernetics or medical implant that has been done there. She has hair that is constantly being dyed in various colors. Usually her base color is silver, silver or gray, and it is very long on the top, with one side of her head fully shaved down to the skin and the other one just buzzed really short, but still covering the skin. And on the side that is fully shaved down to the skin, she has circuitry tattoos, like kind of glowing black light circuitry tattoos going down her side of her face and onto her neck where it's not metal, with blue eyes. And at the moment her hair is, let's say, purple is what she has circled around to. And she is almost always wearing one of 2 things: either excruciatingly huge oversized clothing that just swallows her whole, or next to nothing, like leggings and tiny bra or sports bra, but almost across the board with some sort of sneaker or running shoe, no matter what she is wearing. And at the moment, to give you more idea, she is wearing this. This is a fairly normal outfit for her. And she usually also has a bag, a like shoulder messenger bag of some sort, that is, again, kind of rough. What else? Oh, and she also has 2 kind of implants on her temples that you would know is used to, like, for like a sun visor that kind of goes across her face as like an LED screen. And at the moment she would have it, but I don't know that she would be using the full function of it right now. She usually has it up when she is out in public. But Legacy just stares at this person, and looks back to Kaya, and when she talks, there is a metallicness to her voice, because if you talk to her and she speaks to you, anybody in this setting would know that she has a modulated voice. It is a synthetic voice. And she just, like, looks at Kaya. And, do you know this person? I don't know this person.
Don't fucking think so. You sure you don't got us confused with someone else?
Oh, no. And neither of you will know me. I'm sorry if I am approaching you and seeming off-putting. I could prove that I know who you are, but I don't want to scare you away. I just have been waiting here for, I suppose, a bit too long. I think I got here a bit early. But please, if you don't mind, and he gestures again, I do like to give people their fortune. I'm quite good at it.
Kaya's just gonna shrug and turn to Legacy of like, I don't think we got anything. Is what? Head home, work on the projects for another 6 hours.
Fortunes, though?
Something.
He holds up a finger and just goes, "What would convince you that I am a fortune teller worth his salt?" And he gestures to you, Legacy.
Legacy just, like, turns back to him, and there's just, like, this, like, very clear expression of, like, what the shit? fucking, I don't know. I don't. Fine. What do you want to tell us? What do you want to tell us? Not giving you my hand or nothing, if that's what you're looking for.
Oh, no, no palm reading. I merely wish to tell you in a bit of a riddle way some things that you should know. I can't tell you too much because I don't want to influence things a bit unfairly, but I think it's only right that you know something before. Well, just that you know some things.
Could you tell us your name or something? Like, who the
Oh.
fuck are you?
Yes. I am called FS. At least that's the short form of my name.
F.
Like FS.
FS, like fuck's sake.
Do you say that?
Please. Please.
Oh my god.
Wait, that was
You could say it.
Please.
I'll give you inspiration if you say it. You can use your inspiration for next time.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so mean. That was just me
If-
getting the fucking abbreviation.
If Kaya doesn't say it, I want Legacy to say it.
I'll say it because it makes like she doesn't mean any harm by it. Those are just the first two words that come to her mind. Because remember, she's just a little awkward socially, just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll say. I'll take that inspiration, however the fuck that works in the system. Putting
It would just be like a boost at your beck and call.
Okay.
So as you say it, you're just like, so what does that stand for? And then in time with Kaya, he says, fuck's sake, yes. No, that is not what it stands for. It stands for any, like, it's not a wince, but it's this gesture, like this kind of cringe of, I am hoping that you don't judge me for this, because a lot of people do, and he just goes, I am called Fate Spinner.
Audible facepalm.
He just shrugs, just goes, that is usually the reaction I get. Well, at least here.
Fate spinner.
And he points, like correct.
Alright, well. I mean, I'm down to chill for a few more minutes. I'm not in too much of a rush to get back to work. You and Legs?
I mean, fine. Grabs
So you
Larry
both-
and decides to prop her elbow on Larry.
Oh, Larry just like gets grabbed and pulled down, and just like, okay, and pats your arm.
It's Kyle's fucking plop down.
So you both sit next to him, or not next to him, but across from him at his little like table. Like he's sitting cross-legged, with all of the billowing robes or the billowiness of his robes around him, and you can see now that you're closer to eye level with him. He has very bright, like the whites of his eyes are very bright, but the color of his eyes are very dark. You could not discern a color. It's either like black or like a dark brown. But he has a very cheery expression, like a very happy demeanor. And he will look at you both, and he'll put his hands together and kind of hold them up to his mouth, and he will say, "So, I'm going to tell you some things, and I need you to trust me. I am not a," and he points to Legacy, hacker, or, and he points to Kaya, an agent from Tetsuo. And he,
Wasn't my first guess from the uniform, but alright, I'll buy it.
he like nods and looks at Legacy, like hoping to get some approval of like, do you trust that I am not those things?
She just has like, again, elbow on Larry, like chin and palm, and just has this kind of like very not sour, but like I am listening, but this all smells like bullshit.
Kaya is just along for the ride.
Gestures with her other hand for him to continue.
Oh boy. A very non-enthused audience he has. This poor man.
He nods and just goes, good. Now that I have your attention. He looks to Legacy and looks back to Kaya and says, so, speaking of Tetsuo, and he reaches into one of his sleeves and pulls out a deck of cards. And these are ornate black and gold, very fancy filigree type tarot cards. And he, with one hand, splays them out in this fan, and then flips them all back together in one big pile. And he will take them, part the deck, and then flip one card out, like kind of poke it out of the deck as if you had plucked it. And he will hold it out to either of you, offering if you want to take the card that he is kind of poking out.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You pluck the card, and when you turn it over, you can see that it is the tower.
Oh boy.
And he, yes, and he, like, notes, like, flips the deck back, and then sets the deck very gingerly on his little, like, fortune teller's table. And he smiles and he just goes, do you know anything about tarot, Miss Kaya?
It's a cod shit. I'm
He nods,
guessing
he's
it's
like,
not go fish.
no, it is not Go Fish. It is a mystical kind of thing. But we do not put stock in what the cards say. The cards are merely a way to interpret things. What I do put stock in is the symbolism behind the cards. And these cards, or he goes, and this card in particular, and he points to it, is a very bad card. And you look at the card, and the traditional, yes, the tower is a very bad card. That's a bad time. He points to it, and the original art on the card it depicts an image of a gray tower that is being struck by lightning. And there are people burning and dying, falling from the tower, as it is not inverted. It is an upright version of the card. And this is just the actual image of the card. So that is what lies before you. At least that's what initially it looks like. And then when you look back down at it as he points to it and like taps his finger on it, you look again and you can see that the art still has that sort of aged appearance, but the tower looks like a comic booky, more modern appearance. Almost like a building in a Spider-Man comic book in the background. It looks like a business building, like an office building. And part of the top of the building is obscured by the lightning strike as it hits the tower. but you're fairly confident that there is some lettering on the top of the tower. Much like any big corporation, they have their logo plastered at the highest point, and you can't quite make it out, but the lettering is red. And there's not a heck of a lot of companies who have red lettering. And he drums his fingers together and says, "Now, what this card means in particular is not good. It is not a good thing. It is a bad place, an indication of bad things to come. But what is more important is all of the omens and negativity that comes from this place in this card," and he taps on it, "are not at the actual tower. Again, we are talking symbolically here. And what is a corporation and a logo, if not symbolic of things?" And he gestures back to the deck. "Would you like to draw another card, or would you like me to pick?"
Kaya's just gonna like rub and like scratch the back of like her head, the back of her neck. Just like turn her into Legacy and just like, if you want to go ahead, you can. I think I lost.
Can I roll Legacy's conspiracy shit to see if she understands tarot at all?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Someone needs to understand because I've decided Kaya knows nothing. This is card game. This is bad card. Damn, I guess I lost, huh?
I can boost this, because why not?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh my god!
The one time I get to use conspiracy, this is what I get.
Oh my god!
You
Fuck
Legacy.
It, can I boost it?
Yeah, you can use your
Can I
power
cancel
to
out?
boost it.
Can I cancel out that shit?
Mm-hmm. Just don't roll a 1, because it will get worse
Yeah.
if you roll a 1.
Yeah, it'll get worse if you roll another one.
One more one. If I
Oh,
roll
D6.
another one, then I'm canceling the session. I'm gone. Hey!
Let's go!
Oh, there you go. So, altogether, you rolled a 14. Jesus. So, Legacy, you're like staring at this dude. You're not really paying attention to what he's talking about at the moment, but then he pulls out the deck of cards and you watch him for a little bit, and then you're just watching to see if he has any sleight of hand tricks. And the only real quote unquote trick he pulls is that he pokes one card out very obviously and then offers it to Kaya and is like, "Yeah, take the card. Any card. It could be anything, but take a card." And you're less and less impressed the longer this goes. But then you see the tower, and it takes you a second to kind of remember your Tarot 101, but that's a bad one. You're pretty sure. You're not super up to snuff on tarot, but you start to piece together like, okay, he's trying to tell us something, and he's being very cryptic about it, and I don't know if this is a legacy thing, genuinely, but it seems like she would more prefer the straightforward answer as opposed to the cryptic, like, dancing
Yeah.
around it with cards thing.
Yeah.
And if it's something serious, it would be probably frustrating to not know. But yeah, he's alluding to something very bad, and likely about a very bad thing that you're already dealing with.
Legacy says, like, kind of watches, and I'm assuming she sees the, like, change of the card too, or is that only Kaya?
No, she would see it too.
She's, like, watches, and then as soon as the card changes, she studies it for a second, and then she's just, like, watching this guy very intently immediately after, and doesn't really respond when Kaya turns towards her. She just kind of takes a moment and then gestures at the deck. It's like, Okay, so what is all the smoke and mirrors for?
He holds up his hands and then makes a gesture and makes this different gesture with his hands and is kind of changing expressions. This is a very, like, okay, how do I start this? Well, you see, but he's not saying anything. He's just kind of gesticulating, changing his pose and his posture. And then after a second, he just goes, I don't know if you remember, but I said at the very beginning of this little journey that I am taking you on, I can't share too much with you all. I can only share just enough that it is not cheating.
Cheating for who?
His you can see that his eyes look up and he's not looking at anything. This seems more like a thoughtful gesture. And he just looks up and just goes, that is a big question. And I don't think you know how big it is. But it's not cheating for anyone who's in your purview. Good or bad.
But
But I promise you, and this he has a more like a pleading gesture, like puts his hands together and just goes, I promise you, you will want to know what I have to say. Even if it is cryptic.
the unimpressed expression has turned a little more sour. And she just like stares him down in silence for a couple of seconds. And then well again, pick up Larry and hold Larry out to the deck of cards that has been spread out and just say, pick one.
Larry, like, puts a hand, one of his little manipulators, to where his chin would be, and looks at the deck. And then the dude, Fate Spinner, reaches down, grabs the deck, and then proffers it to Larry. And Larry, like, takes just the top card. There's a long process to it, and then he reaches up a hand very slowly, and then takes the top card off of the deck.
Pat, pat, pat. Good job.
And he will flip it and drop it onto the mat, and he will show the devil, which is this one. As that card falls to the mat, the guy, Fate Spinner, will say, so, if all of this, and he gestures to the tower, is an omen of what's to come, and it is a symbol of who causes it, then the change bringer here, and he gestures to the devil, would be the one to instigate it. And as he gestures to it, he taps his finger again onto it, and you swear, like, in between blinks, the card has only a slight change. It's still gray, but there's a weird familiarity to, like, the depicted devil in the picture. The devil in the picture has, unlike the one that I sent, the devil in the picture has, like, a frazzled, messy, like, shock of hair that is like a stark white in contrast to his grayish toned skin and rest of his body and horns. And both of you roll me clever check.
Straight.
You can add your conspiracy bonus to this one. For Kaya, anything about remembering something.
And I have to ask it. Is this related to corporations or dreamers in any way?
Technically, yes.
Which one? Or both?
It would be more related to corporations.
Okay.
I've got nothing.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a straight check for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Okay.
You want to retroactively boost it?
Kinda.
You can.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
10.
Good. The DC was 10.
A.
So you look at this picture and you just blink at it for a second. This sounds insane. It seems dumb to even want to bring this point up. But just looking at it, like the crazy shock of white hair, it reminds you of Ben Getty for some reason.
Boy.
Fucking knew it.
But like, it's just hair. Like, that has nothing to do with anything, right?
Legacy is going to go ahead and pick up the card and start examining it very carefully, very closely.
You pick up the card and look at it. Is there anything you're looking for?
She's trying to figure out how it's changing, or if there is anything on it that is making it change.
It's holographic, like a Pokemon card.
Go ahead and roll me you can roll a conspiracy theorist check, and you can roll, it'll be a clever check, just basically exactly what you just rolled.
Okay.
Yeah,
Including corporations?
not corporations, it's just conspiracy theory,
Okay.
actually.
Boost this.
These are important.
Trying to add magic bullshit to a Cyberpunk game. Boost this shit.
Do you not remember the fucking observer?
But that was Alien.
That's not Alien.
It is Alien.
So you're looking at the card, and there's nothing mechanical about it. It's cardboard. As like to the naked eye, cardboard. It's not giving off any Wi-Fi signal, so if it is, it would be so small that you couldn't perceive anything with the naked eye. But it just looks like a card. You tilt it left and right and sideways, and there's no shine or shimmer to it in any way that would indicate that it has like a thin layer to it or a veneer that would cause it to change images. It just looks like a card. And both cards, having looked at them now, are not changing anymore. They have seemingly just stayed as you saw them the second time, which in a weird way makes you feel like it could just be your mind playing tricks on you.
And she just like narrows her eyes and like stares back up at him. Doesn't say anything. Leaning on Larry again.
You saying that this one is the one instigating shit?
He nods.
Can you be a little more elaborate on that?
Sure. Now that you've asked so very nicely, I will gladly elaborate more.
Well, I appreciate it.
He points to the tower and he goes, it's all symbolic nonsense. It is dangerous. It means the onset of trouble. All of which trouble will be caused by this. And he points to the devil. in an effort to change things from the norm, this is going to cause all of the bad omens represented here. But this actual tower, the tower itself, far less dangerous. In fact, you could consider it harmless. By comparison to what he will bring. And he gestures to the devil again. Does that answer your question?
I'm gonna say not really. I mean, what kind of trouble could this one cause? You saying that the tower was like a really bad one?
He nods.
If it's, how could it be considered harmless compared to the second god?
Think of it like he turns, or like kind of sits back for a second, and then looks up and tilts his back. And this is the first time that you can actually see some of the light hitting his face and skin. And he points upwards at an angle. And he's literally pointing to another part on the station. And,
Looks to where he's pointing.
Yeah, so you turn your head up and around to look at where he's pointing. And you can see he's pointing to a section in the Turing ward. And as he's pointing to that section in the Turing ward, he is saying, or he says, "Do you see all of those buildings there in that, what is that ward called? Is that Turning ward?
Turin.
Turing ward. But in that ward, it is hard to really say without giving you the exact answer, which I can't give you. But
Why not?
those, he shrugs and just goes, "I'm not allowed to help you cheat. I can only help you in a little itty bitty pushes." But nonetheless, and he points to the buildings up there and gestures, that is where a lot of things happen. That is where the laboratories and things are, correct?
For some of the big companies, yeah.
He gestures. When I say this tower itself is an omen of things to come, but I also say the tower physically is harmless. That is what I mean. If you look up to these buildings, and this time he points like more straight up, and is pointing to what would be Sishin Ward. Let me go here. There are corporations, and there are the places that they work.
If you're taking us to a different map, we haven't swapped.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I will take you to the world map though. I think that would probably help. Yeah. So he's pointing up and pointing to somewhere in here in Sishin after pointing to somewhere in here in Turing. And just goes, if you look at these buildings where some of the headquarters are, they probably have a place where they do the work. I believe the saying is, do not shit where you sleep or eat.
Yeah.
So think of it like that. The symbolic place represents what will be brought from them. But the symbol itself, he points from Turing to Sishin, and he puts a hand to his chin and just goes, well, the symbol itself the home, it says in quotation marks, is far less harmful than what it will bring. And it is going to be brought by this man. And he points, like, with one really big poke to the devil card. Does that answer your question?
Okay, I just like lean back on her hand. And she just like looks at the cards. And she just shrugs. I'm like, probably, but probably just made some more questions you're probably not gonna answer anyway. Looks to Legacy. You got any questions? Making any sense of this shit?
Is it making sense? Vaguely. Do I have questions? Far more than our friend here is probably ever going to be willing to talk about.
Shrugs, like, awkwardly.
Is there anything more that you're wanting?
Oh yes, there is much more.
Alright, well, does it involve picking another card, or is it more vague saying phrases pouring in on a tour of the station?
I think the vague saying phrases is just part of picking a card.
Oh, 2 for the price of 1, huh?
Yeah.
Right. You pick a card, you haven't done it yet. Look, Larry's even picked a card.
He holds the deck out to you. And he will, as he holds it towards you, Legacy, poke one card slightly more forward than the rest.
She is going to specifically pick from one of the middle sections that he is not poking a card from and is not the bottom or top.
Mm-hmm.
Just essentially takes the deck, pulls a random card.
Mm-hmm. So you pull a card. And you pull... Let me... The card you pull is the... What's it called? Not page. Knight. The Knight of Swords.
Oh shit.
So you pull the Knight of Swords, in which he points and just goes, now this is an interesting card to see with these other also very interesting cards. You seem like a smart and savvy woman. And he, like, points to Legacy. And I know you are. You're also very fast on your feet. And I think it is worth noting that you are far more capable than you give yourselves credit for. You have done a lot of work in a lot of different areas. And the time for action, well, the time for action, while only recently passing, is also fast approaching. Fortune is when opportunity meets preparedness, and you are all prepared. And now the opportunity draws near. And he will set that card down. But there is one last thing that I think you need to know. And it is before this opportunity presents itself. And as you set the Knight of Sword, or as he like finishes talking about the Knight of Swords and starts shuffling, Legacy, you are watching him and his hands because you're not sure if that was a forced card or not. But you look at his hands, and then you look down and look at the card, and then look back at his hands, and then do a double take, and you look at the card, and this is unquestionably Lockhart riding on the horse with the sword forward. But as you notice this, he flips another card and throws it on top of the Knight of Swords. And this card let me see. He flips it, and on this card is depicted a large structure, an extremely tall and ornate looking, like almost castle. And at the bottom it says house. You can roll me a conspiracy theory check for this one, Legacy.
Okay. Gonna do this. Do this. We.
$14. Okay. So you don't know a lot about tarot, but this is not a standard tarot card. You don't know what this is, but it is not a normal tarot card. And he gestures to it and says, "This is not the opportunity for which I spoke. But I know you have a bunch of unusual questions, especially now, having just met me. But what you have here," and he points to the house, "is an opportunity for something different. There is a house on this station that is older than the station itself. And the house did not come here for you. It did not come here because of me. The house is simply here now. And inside the house, there are answers to questions you did not know you needed to ask. And I will tell you, these are going to be far more straightforward answers than what I will give you. And I'm allowed to tell you that because the house is not safe. It is a dangerous place. And it is very unfriendly to visitors. But there is a reason to pursue this if you want to know things that you would not otherwise be able to. That could prove useful for you. But, and he shrugs and then scoops up the cards and starts shuffling them back into his deck. That is all I have for you today.
Can I have well, that's going back and doing something else. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck it. Legacy is going to, like, start gesticulating as she starts to talk. And I want her to try and take a picture of this guy with her hand while she is
Okay.
talking.
Okay. So roll me. Let me think. Do you want it to for him to not notice?
Ideally, yes.
Okay. Roll me a cool check, and I will let you add your conspiracy bonus to this.
Not quick.
You're gonna also roll a quick check, but the cool check is to make him believe that you're not doing something.
Don't be suspicious.
The quick check is going to be how good of a picture you capture.
Fucking use up all my boost doing this shit.
Mhm.
This is not gonna be good. Hey!
That is good. That's very good. So now roll me a quick check.
Gonna use another. Gonna run out of boost.
Hey. Okay. So you're casually gesturing, and like, do you have any bullshit that you want to try to
Well, it's
throw?
not necessarily bullshit. She's trying to do this while essentially saying what she was going to say anyway. It's just an extra gesture on top. Of her just being like, so you're telling me that there's a house that is somehow magically older than this entire fucking station. On the, like, a physical place that we have to go to learn things and also protect? Like, we're going there because it's in danger, so I'm assuming we're supposed to be protecting it.
Well, no, you don't have to protect the house. The house will protect itself. Just like dismissively waves. You snap a picture with your hand, and it goes unnoticed.
And you still didn't have to, it's a physical place.
And he like nods and just goes, "Yes, it is a physical, real house. When I say house, I mean a metaphorical house. I mean," and he hooks a thumb to the building behind him that looks like an apartment complex mixed in with um like a kind of simple stop quick mart kind of built into the bottom, and he just goes, "I mean a physical house with a front door and windows. A house."
Is this house, like, tied to whoever you're working for?
Oh no, it is not tied to anything that I do. It is coincidence that it is here.
But you know about it. How do you know about it? If this thing does exist.
Well, it is a bit more complicated. I know about it because I am a very special guy. And he shrugs. I can tell you, but I don't think you would believe me.
To be fair, we have seen a lot of really weird shit. Be kind of
Nice.
hard to not take something with at least a grain of salt.
Don't know until you try, right?
So you're asking, are you asking like for him
Yeah,
to tell you
hit
who
us
he
with
works
it.
for?
Fucking hit us with the fucking crazy. Try us, motherfucker. We've seen a lot of shit lately.
He shrugs and just goes, "I work for someone who does not exist in this reality." And he does like a gesture pointing to the ground.
Alright, where do they exist?
Well, obviously they exist in another reality. One that is far different and a bit more... Well, just different, I think, is the word to use.
And how exactly did you come to start working with somebody from a different reality?
Well, in the reality that I used to call home,
You're
I
from a
started
different
to-
reality.
He looks up and smiles and just goes like, "Is that the part that makes it hard to believe?"
Just pinch bridge of nose.
I promise you, if I tell you all of the details, you won't believe me. But to give you a rough idea, in my reality, when I was just a normal man, he does this in quotation marks, fucked around and found out. And now I'm stuck here. Well, not here, and he points to the ground, but he just gestures wildly into the air and just goes, here. Doing this sort of thing.
Why?
Talking to people for the person you work for?
He nods.
Are you stuck in our reality, or are you hopping to others?
Oh, I hop around quite a bit.
Why would something in another reality give two shits about what we're doing in this one? Gesturing at herself and Kaya.
Really widely, and just goes, there are people and there are things far beyond you that care about you. Imagine what is it, H.P. Lovecraft, except all of the elder gods might actually give a shit about you. And I don't mean you as in the human race, and he gestures to like a bunch of random street passers. A couple people who are just like giving you weird looks and just like, what the fuck is this like street conversation that's happening? And he just goes, no, you. And he points to Legacy, and then he goes, and you. And he points to Kaya.
And you, and he points to Larry. I'm sorry. Care about us as in they care about what we can do, or they actually care about us? Like, are we just, hypothetically speaking, are we just, I guess, what's the fucking phrase for it? Pawns? For some,
Kind of
I don't know, goal or some shit?
tips his head back and forth and just goes, that is hard to say. He shrugs. I can't tell you why. I don't know myself. All I know is that there is an interest. Are you suitably confused and convinced that I am just a crazy homeless person now?
You could be, or you could be telling the truth.
He
Or you
shrugs.
could be high off your fucking mind right now. Who the fuck knows?
I
I
could
don't.
be. And he leans in real close and just goes, you know what would be truly mind-boggling right about now?
What?
And he looks at you, and he looks at Legacy, and then he smiles and just goes, if I just popped into a different reality right now. And he slaps his hands, and nothing happens. I got you though, didn't I?
We're grumbling under breath and like pinching bridge of nose a little harder.
He seems
So-
very pleased with himself.
I got a couple of questions if you don't mind me asking.
I do not mind any questions you have. I can only say that I will only be able to answer so many. So feel free to ask me your questions.
Or I guess start off with the more important ones. Is there anyone else in this our reality, quote unquote, that you've spoken to, or are we the lucky ones? Or quote unquote lucky.
Well, you are the only two lucky ones right now. I probably won't be able to make time to meet the other people who I should talk to here, but I trust you both to give the message to those who need it.
Who are the other people?
You'll know.
How the fuck are we supposed to spread the message if we don't know? You got a list of something?
No. I'm telling you to trust your gut. You know who to give it to. And you also know if you need to give it. That is the other half of that.
You just ensure so you don't get cold. You just avoid like shucking it on.
He shrugs and goes, if you want to go get crazy, then go to something. And then tell them that the crazy fortune teller told you that he was from another reality, and you can be called crazy.
I mean, fighting a cop wouldn't get you called crazy, it'd be called a riot. But anyway.
We called it Tuesday. Legacy just like you can see she sits up a little bit straighter, opens her mouth, closes her mouth like with an audible click. It has a very clear expression of that like fucking like meme sound of like be nice, I'm finding it. And she is like jaw kind of working for a second as she's focusing herself. So you're telling you are trying to tell us that this change bringer is the one that is going to cause all the problems, and he is more dangerous than the company that the tower is representing. So we need to be more worried about him because an opportunity is coming soon.
He like his eyes look up as he's like recapping everything you told him, or like listening to you recap everything he said, and he thinks about it and just goes, "Oh, two other things that I think I can get away with. One, the symbol that this represents," and he points to the red letter behind the fire, or not the cards are gone, but he like points to where the card was, and he will say, the tower itself, the company that it represents, the tower is far less dangerous than you give it credit for. The actual tower, mind you. And as a result of this change bringer wanting to bring about change, well, I would not be a fan. I would not think the company would do well under his influence, so to speak. There is a reason there are people jumping out on fire on the card. But otherwise, you got most of it.
So he's saying that the change bringer devil, whatever the fuck, is in charge of the tower now? And he's changing shit about it?
He nods for a sec. He like nods for a second and then stops and just goes, "What day is it today?"
Tuesday.
You tell him the date. Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell him the day, and he just goes, "No. As of right now, he is not in charge of anything."
When is he gonna be in charge?
Opens his mouth. Soon.
Can you give me something, Spinner? Just like ETA, give it a month, a week,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Before the end of this week.
before the end of the week. Oh, All right.
So, this coming Saturday at 11:59 p.m. By then, you will know who the Changebringer is.
Oh, boy. And is the house and the knowledge that's supposedly in this house, is this supposed to help us? Like, knowledge is going to help us with all that bullshit, or is this just knowledge? And she has like the very kind of sassy hand wave, both hands wave in front of her, like jazz hand style, like knowledge.
He nods and just goes, the first one, it's more applicable knowledge, not just the consumption of information for the purposes of progress. No, not that. This is specific knowledge to specific questions that you have not asked yet. But you will ask them. And eventually, you will want to know the answer.
What about the questions we've already got? You got anything on? Is there like? You got the house on the future questions. You got a fucking apartment on the past questions.
He snorts and just goes, unfortunately, there is no apartment of the past. The house might answer some of your questions you have right now, but not all of them. Though, if you carefully examine what I have told you today, I think you will be more than happy with some of the things you are into, and find most of the questions you have answered.
Let's.
But if you don't mind, and he rocks back on his heels and sits up, and you can see he's wearing slip-on, not slippers, but slip-on kind of canvas shoes, and starts to scoop up his little box and cloth, and just goes, "If you don't mind, it is about to rain, so I would like to get indoors somewhere."
Legacy instantly flinching.
Kai doesn't bat a fucking eye. It's like, oh, it's gonna rain. Hold on. Are you gonna be anywhere we can fucking find you if we got any more questions, or what? You gonna be in town for a bit? When you head now on the next reality happened to us?
He thinks about it for a second and just goes, "Unfortunately, I will be gone after we're done here. So if you have any other questions, now would be the time to ask them."
Above table. Z, you got anything?
Fucking no, this is some bullshit.
This is some fucking... What fucking divination warlock got suckered into being Eldritch fucking clue giver?
So next campaign, we're having issues. This is the character we're gonna see.
Fate Spinner, bring the boy back.
I don't think this is not because any of y'all had issues. This was a character that I had thought of, and I was like, I'm putting him in this game.
I love him. Cody, Piper, not Piper, Iris. Do either of you have any suggestions above table? What should we ask? Iris.
Yeah, conspiracy brain.
I
Conspiracy
can't
brain.
say anything. You'll have to talk to my lawyer.
Sure.
Iris, you don't have a lawyer. Talk to us now.
Iris, you're the lawyer.
The other stuff, the first stuff makes sense so far. The house I'm very confused about.
Yeah, where can we find this house? Do you tell us that? Can he tell us that?
Ooh.
Just a house on the fucking station.
Do you know how many people
He-
live on this damn station?
Yeah, there's so many fucking look. The economy's in shambles.
You know, technically, the station is more condensed than a lot of the population on Earth, so
Exactly. There's so many fucking houses. The real estate. Jesus Christ. The real
Actually-
estate market is insane.
well, actually, there aren't a lot of houses now that I think about it, huh?
There's
I
not.
mean, there's
There are a lot of
I know.
luxury houses, but they are compacted.
Okay.
He does nod and say, "I can give you the location of the house," and he gestures to Legacy, like holds out his hand as if to ask, like, "May I?" And he gestures to her metal arm.
There's an immediate instinctive retraction. And just staring him down for a second. And then very slowly giving her arm over.
Your arm has your deck in it, right?
Yes.
Okay. He will very gingerly take your arm, and he will, as if he's done it before, activate the deck in your arm, which creates a screen that only you can see. Because it's basically directly connected to your own head.
Yeah, to her visor and everything.
Yeah. Like it's not like a hologram screen that's on your arm that everyone can see. But he navigates on it as though he could see it. And he will punch in coordinates that are directly inside of Voyager Ward.
Oh my god.
And then he will let go of your arm.
How the fuck? She will say that in character.
What? Wait, what the
You-
fuck? Did you hurt her or something?
You could also have inspiration for that one. Just like do that. Just like how the fuck. He just wiggles his fingers and just goes, spooky magic.
Bullshit. She will. She's gonna snatch his hand and just like push his sleeve up and start examining the hand that he was holding her arm with.
You start looking again. There's no obvious cybernetics, and there's no obvious signal or port of any kind that you can see. If there are cybernetics, they would be beneath the skin.
She just looks annoyed and looks towards Kaya, still holding his arm. He just fucked with my deck.
I told you where the house was.
Did he transfer it to you with his phone or something?
No, he... do you think Kaya would ever have asked about deck and, like, hacking in any regard?
If it's technology, yes. She would have asked. She doesn't specialize in software, but she does know enough to, like, write AI and stuff.
So she would know vaguely, I imagine, that, like, essentially Legacy has hacked her arm into becoming a, like, computer for her that she can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically a Google Glass screen. Like it's
Mhm.
hooked up to her visor.
And she just, like, with her free hand, just, like, waves it in very much the, like, old school, like, mouse movement. It's like, he was manipulating my deck, Kai. I could see it, and then she like hand waves in front of her face.
Kaya just like blinks, tilts her head, just like looks, like peers around, steps closer to like behind / above Legacy to peer down at him. It's like, well, I mean, he could have that. I forgot it was called the TIF5. It's a remote transmitter that could allow you to do that, but you'd have to be hacking into your software to do that, which it could probably connect to most decks, but you've got a pretty good firewall on yours. But I don't really see that on him. Do you? I mean, we could have it in his other pocket.
And Legacy just like head whips around to him, looking progressively more grumpy as Kaya's talking. She's like, "No, people can't hack my deck like that." It's like, that's my deck is too good for that shit.
He shrugs again and just goes, "Magic fingers. I told you wouldn't believe me."
Well, he's got you there. Any other questions? Any other questions? Iris? Conspiracy brain, what answer do we fucking need?
To be fair, I'm not in on this scene, so
Shut your Iris.
y'all already
Iris,
have had
what
a
do we
lot.
What do we need? Iris.
Iris,
What do we
please.
need, Iris, please.
I mean, we have the location. That answers
Yeah,
my
we
question.
need more.
Well,
What
if
The
we
way
need
you
more,
said that,
then
we
what's
need
the
more.
I can't read your mind, Amy.
we need, like, what pertinent, like, should we ask? Do we need right now? You are most up-to-date conspiracy brain. What are our most pressing questions at this moment we can ask Fate Spinner?
Okay. So, the first thing is about Tetsuo. The first card is the Tetsuo building.
Mhm.
The second one is something about Bengetti. And the third one was...
Well, the second card is about the person who's about to take over Tetsuo, I'm pretty sure.
But it looked like
But it
Bengetti.
could also
But
it also looked like
Ben-
Bengetti.
Yeah.
It makes me think, is this his dad?
Or original
That's why I'm
clone.
saying that's why
Mhm.
I'm saying
original.
tied.
Exactly. It's
Mhm.
tied to Bengetti at some point.
And
Some way.
then
It could be.
the third one was the 1 second.
Knight of
The
Swords.
one with
original
Lockhart.
Bengetti.
Well, I wasn't even considering that, but I didn't hear
Lockhart
that
is
one.
badass knight who's gonna save the day.
Oh,
But it was
okay, cool.
talking about preparation and shit like that too.
Yeah. Being prepared. Something. We need both preparedness and opportunity. We are prepared. Opportunity is coming closer.
Okay, I mean that's pretty self-explanatory. And then the last one was about this house. Like I said, my main questions were about the house.
Mm-hmm. Because it'll hold questions we will be asking in the future.
Legacy will like turn towards him. Still has not let go of his arm.
You're not. We're not done here. You'll be here in the rain with all of us.
Yeah, you feel a drop of rain like hit the top of your head.
Why
Coffee shop?
now?
Why now? And he stops to think about it for a second. He just goes, I don't know. And he seems like genuinely uncertain. I could hazard a guess, but as for me, I don't know personally. I
Well,
was not told.
what would that guess be then?
shrugs and just goes, "It might be. It might be used to create something that would not exist otherwise, like pre-causal information, or it might be, well, fear of stagnation. Might be that there was a piece of the puzzle missing, or it might be because of the house. Because we," and he points to himself, "don't control the house." It could be any number of things.
Somebody else controls the house.
He shakes his head and just goes, "The house is its own master." That is why the house is so dangerous. It does not answer to anyone.
So the house could also just fuck us over.
He nods. Could.
But you're saying that the answer to questions that we're going to be asking in the future is in there.
That is decidedly true.
Alright. Well, in your own personal opinion, say you were the one that'd be going into the house and risking it all. Do you think the answers that are possible to find are worth the risk? Or could we make do without them?
You could make do without them, but you would have to be okay with not knowing. And that is something that only you can determine.
Iris will not
Depends
survive with that.
I mean, it depends on how dangerous it is. Is it like a physical danger? Well, this house has got a security system, a turret mounted on it or some shit.
He nods his head, like, kind of shakes his head back and forth, and just kind of goes, "Physical danger, emotional danger, all kinds." And I have my arm back.
Legacy just gives him like another sour look.
He just shrugs and just goes, "What do you want from me? I'm trying to do my best here. My hands are tied in this scenario, just as yours.
I think one of them's being held instead of tied at the moment, but
That's why I would like it back."
Your hands are not being tied. You just keep saying that you're not supposed to. That doesn't mean you can't.
she's got a point.
He purses his lips at that one, and just goes, "That is a good point. But now that you've acknowledged it, I strictly can't."
Mm-hmm. And what is
Don't
that
look
supposed to
at me.
mean?
The rules change depending on when things need to be said and when things don't need to be said. Or when new information comes to light. There will be a time where you see me in the future, though. That I can assure you.
The timeline has shifted.
Can you see if you're going to be going and talking to people that we really don't want you helping?
He just raises both eyebrows and he goes, "You don't have to worry about that."
Why exactly would that be?
Because there are people that care about, there are beings that care about you as people, and there are beings that hate others. And all the ones that I've been steered towards and away from, steered towards people like you, and steered away from people like, for example, just for the sake of argument, someone like Joseph Diego. And he looks at Legacy really intently.
Very narrowed eyes. And what exactly would you know about Joseph Diego, then?
A lot of unpleasant things.
Hmm.
But not everything. And he shrugs. I'm not supposed to know everything. Just a bunch of things.
Like what unpleasant things? Beyond that he's an ass.
Do you count his womanizing habits inside of his being an us? He was a very sexist man.
Unsurprising.
He shrugs and just goes, see?
I think anyone on the station who wears a suit all the time is just default sexist.
Hey,
And
fuck you too.
I meant like men in like corporation peoples in power.
you have had Lockhart in something other than a suit at least once.
Yeah, she's been stuff other than a
You know,
suit.
it
I
may
think
have been
that he
what you meant.
sleeps. Yeah, I think that he sleeps in a suit. Honestly. I'm sorry, you know what I meant.
So you're don't want to say owner, but it's starting to come off very much like owner. Wants to help us because they care about us. Quotation marks. But they won't tell us everything.
Nods.
Doesn't seem a lot like caring if they know everything that would help us.
He shrugs and just goes, you would be surprised. But I am not a philosopher. I am a messenger. Like a mailman. Except more cryptic. Now, if there's no more questions, I would like to take my leave. And see you sometime in the future.
I have to do the chaos roll because I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The modicum of survival instinct that Legacy has is going to have her actually let go of his arm.
You let go, and he smiles and thanks you. Like, bows his head. And he will straighten the edge of his robe, adjust his hood a little bit, and turn and start walking away. And at this point, the rain has started in earnest. It's not very heavy rain.
Kaya pulls out an umbrella.
Yeah, just pull it out of your arm, just like pachink.
Larry has an umbrella also.
An umbrella hat.
Like- Yeah,
He
like
has
a
an
little umbrella hat.
that covers him. Yeah.
It's like you hear a pink, boom.
He has his own umbrella. Kaya pulls out an umbrella over the two of them. Larry has his own.
Legacy just watches the guy until he is out of sight, and she's gonna immediately look towards the picture. Check and
The
see if
picture
she
you
got
took?
something. Yeah.
The picture you took, when you look at it, it is a picture of him smiling and looking at the camera.
Oh, it's cute.
But you do have a picture of him.
Cheese.
I don't like this. I don't like this. That was weird, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean,
I don't like it.
everything's kind of weird lately, isn't it?
There's like our weird at this point, and then there's whatever the fuck that was.
Other reality, fortune telling, future clue sharing, but only a little bit of the clue sharing weird. Yeah, that's a little new, but I mean, can you really be surprised with what we're finding every other fucking day?
There's no reality. Just everything we're finding is like, yes, bullshit, but at least it's like plausible bullshit. That's not that shit. And she's just like gesturing with both of her hands like down the alley. That's not. There's no way.
Probably not, but on the off chance there is, I mean. To be fair, a few months ago, I wouldn't believe fucking dream of bullshit would exist either, but.
I told you it did.
Well, yeah, you told me. And he told you that this is what exists. Who the fuck knows? Maybe in a couple of months you'll be an expert on this shit.
Just Legacy grumbles and growls.
I don't know. I'm kind of the mind right now that honestly anything could exist. I'm not gonna argue against it. And who knows? Maybe he is just some fucking drunk off his ass homeless guy who found a deck of cards or something.
There's she starts to like sees that Kaya is just going full roll with it mode, gets differently frustrated, and just immediately starts trying to research the coordinates that were shared to her.
Yeah,
Looking
you start
over
looking. Oh, go
her
ahead.
shoulder. No, Kaya is just looking over her shoulder now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look up the coordinates, and it has an address on it that is very, very old. But it's registered on the station. As far as you can tell, there's no one living there right now. It is an abandoned property, which is
Weird.
really fucking weird.
What the fuck? How is it not a mini mall?
Part of the rich neighborhood.
She's gonna do
Yeah.
the internet deep dive of any mentions of the address, any pictures of the address, any like just full deep dive. She's gone to internet mode.
Looks at see if there's a BuzzFeed Unsolved supernatural video on it. Is it haunted?
There is an element of it that is mysterious and like, ooh, what's up with this weird house that nobody understands? What the fuck? Is it haunted? Who knows? And you do find pictures of it. You do find people talking about it on rumor boards. You do find people mentioning like they don't know how long it's been on the station, but station records indicate that it has always been there. You would also find that it is unoccupied, obviously, and that it currently has no registered owner. Nobody knows who has the property rights to it. Nobody wants to go near it. It is in a more rich district, and has hence been untouched. But it's in an accessible area, so you can just go there if you want to.
Amy heard the laugh.
I'm imagining at the same time Legacy gets that glint on her fucking eyes. Kaya is just like, yeah, the food truck was this way, right?
I imagine Kaya is like, yeah, the food truck's this way, right? And then feels the rain on her head and is just realizing Legacy just jacked the umbrella.
I mean, it's connected to her arm, isn't it?
Oh, I
well,
thought you wanted it to be deployed out of your arm. Like,
Legacy won't
like
steal
being
the
stored in
umbrella.
there.
She does have a giant hoodie. She just doesn't like being wet, but she like, Kaya starts to turn, like, I think it was this way, and then, like, I imagine you probably hear the, like, Larry, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I turned. It's like, are you fucking...
Legacy's already halfway down the alley.
God fucking... Hold on. Let me get on my bike. We'll get there faster.
I imagine you have a socket for Larry to plug into on your bike.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Okay, so like there's like a little like area where Larry will fly in and just like lock in like a slide-on battery pack.
Just fucking... Imagine she goes to get the bike and just pulls up next to fucking Legacy with her hood up. It's like, this is fucking stupid, right? We should probably tell the others not just go there.
We can tell them and go there.
Or just fucking meet us up. I think we should, regroup, let them know about the whole risk about it. Because, I mean, it's been there for fucking ever. It'll still be there tomorrow.
What's the point of them showing up if there is nothing useful there? Because, like you said, he could just be a fucking drunk, high off his ass homeless dude.
Yeah, but if there is something, they might be willing to come on.
Just make sure you have the tire iron in the fucking toolbox. We're fine.
I think you overestimate what a tire iron can do in this situation. Just look. Let's just go get him. We'll call him up. Let him know about the situation. We'll talk about it. Figure out our next move. Sensible thing to do.
I do not want to deal with freaking Bengetti and Lockhart if this turns out to be nothing.
Well, I'll deal with them. Just go hide in your room with the... I'll get you a whole pack of Red Bull, alright?
Anything to not go to the house.
Like, ignore it now, alright? Just... Look, you saw the fucking car, didn't you? Lockhart is needed.
Lockhart is needed for something vague that's coming up in the future. And again, like the like wiggly bullshit magic hands.
Yeah,
like whole body wiggle.
Speaking of the whole wiggly bullshit magic shit, media has also got all that shit. Should probably, talk to everyone. Work as a team.
Legacy is not impressed.
Don't look at me like that.
Just drive me over there.
Look, yeah.
Haven't you been trying to get me on this fucking bike all the time? Just fucking go.
Alright, I mean, I'll start driving, but we should probably... Look, if we just call him, let him know. Give him the option of tagging along. As a group, as a team, as a party go onto this big clue thing.
I love the idea of Legacy being like, okay, let's go. Jumps on the bike. Giddy up.
No, she'll start moving. She doesn't want Legacy to get off the bike now.
I said I would text them.
I'm trying to pick up the group. We gotta meet a new person.
Kaya, I will let you. Legacy will text the group. Kaya, you can just drive to their house.
Yeah, she can.
See,
Like,
no.
okay, fine.
No, but Legacy
That's the
has
opposite
address.
direction of the Voyager. Legacy can hop off a fucking bike.
What if Kai is speeding?
Kaya
Just
has to
kidding,
slow
I
down
didn't
at
do
some
that.
point.
She is the best racer on this station.
She
does
has
not.
to slow down at some point.
No, she doesn't actually.
Yes, she does, because if she starts trying to fucking speed, the Legacy is going to start yanking at her fucking helmet.
God,
She's
y'all
ridden without
fucking
a
mad.
helmet before. It was stupid. She was young, but she's done it before. Oh, but I'm just like, Z.
You don't
fucking
understand
party.
the feralness of Legacy if you start trying to fucking speed when there's not a point to it. She already does not want to be on the bike again.
No,
So if
she's
you
like,
don't
"Z,
remember last time she was on the bike, she said, I'm never getting on this fucking bike again.
Yeah, but let's just fucking get the fucking party for this fucking
They're
next
getting a
puppy.
text message. It's on them
We have
if they
to
check
meet.
their text message.
How the fuck we gotta meet Cassidy?
Blame
Cassidy will
Joe.
just show up there. Cassidy will just show up there. I assume Cassidy will get dragged into it.
Yeah.
Don't I Twitch me, Iris. It's on you for having a character that's not lore grubby. That may not check her text messages because it's from Legacy. That's on her.
I mean, if Locker doesn't respond, Kai will call her.
After we get to
No.
the house.
You know, I'm not one
on
to
the way.
usually do this, but the fate of Legacy's boyfriend is in my hands.
Oh no.
He got texted in the group chat too.
He's gonna be like, what?
He'd be like, hey, you want an adventure, right?
You're going what to do? You're going what to do?
'Cause
Where?
I'm imagining at this point there is a group chat that has Kaya, Legacy, Lockhart, Marcus, Cosmic, Bingetti. And
Veloska was added immediately, but he immediately left.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I guess media. And so Legacy is just like, hey, we met a weird ass fortune teller from a different reality who claimed to know about all this shit. He started talking about Joseph Diego and Tetsuo and said we had to go to a house. Here's the address. We're going right now. Bye. Just essentially verbatim.
So,
Oh my
You all
God.
can end up there at the same exact time.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You know,
Somehow.
when it's put like that, what kind of group has Lockhart gotten herself into? Oh gosh.
Follow-up text message from Kaya of like, look, not as crazy as that sounds.
Bullshit.
It's a lead
Crazier.
that we're looking into. Possible answers are here. If I don't go with her, she's just gonna go on her own and probably die.
Hey
So we're
guys,
heading in now. Please come with us so we both don't die.
hey guys, we met a wizard. What the fuck? But also come to this haunted house with us.
Yeah. Cosmic is just like, you guys met a wizard?
Yeah.
Did you guys take a picture with him?
But I will say that all of you end up at the address at the same time.
Let's go. All right. Let them all
And-
know.
Yeah. And that will be where we pick up for the next session.
Haunted house time.
Excuse me while I scream into a pillow.
You're gonna be there, just like, yeah. If Lockhart doesn't respond to the text messages, Kaya's gonna call him and be like, please, please.
No. She'll be there. I'm just more like, holy fuck, I want more. Damn it.
Joe.
Hmm?
Joe.
Yes. Yeah. What's up?
What the fuck?
What?